Men, like all people, live with unspoken desires, needs they feel but do not voice. Not because they wish to deceive, but because silence is often their refuge. A man does not seek to be understood through words alone, but through action, respect, and the strength of his character. Today we strip away illusions and speak of what men truly want, but rarely say aloud. Not from vanity, not from arrogance, but from the nature of their being. Respect is the foundation upon which a man builds his identity. While love is cherished, it is respect that truly fuels him. A man who is loved but not respected feels hollow, as if something essential is missing. Love without respect can become suffocating, filled with affection but devoid of admiration. A man desires to be seen for his efforts, his principles, and his ability to stand firm in the face of adversity. He does not seek blind praise, but genuine acknowledgement of his worth. Respect tells a man that his struggles are not in vain, that his sacrifices are noticed, and that his presence carries weight. It reinforces his sense of purpose and strengthens his resolve to be better, not only for himself, but for those he cares about. When a man is respected, he feels empowered, capable of facing the world with confidence. Without respect, love alone is not enough. It becomes fragile, conditional, and eventually loses its meaning. A man will endure hardship, make sacrifices, and give his all for those who respect him. But if respect is absent, no amount of affection can truly satisfy him. A man's soul is not built for idle comfort. It is forged in the fires of purpose. While ease and relaxation have their place, they are not what truly fulfill him. A life without purpose, no matter how comfortable, feels empty, like a ship drifting without a destination. He may seek moments of rest, but he does not want to be trapped in complacency. He thrives when he has a mission, something to strive for, something that makes his struggles meaningful. The pursuit of purpose gives his life direction, turning pain into progress and hardship into growth. Comfort, when taken to excess, weakens him. It lulls him into stagnation, stripping away his drive and leaving him restless and unfulfilled. A man does not fear struggle. He fears a life without meaning. He would rather endure hardship in pursuit of something greater than himself than live in comfort without significance. He wants to build, to achieve, to leave his mark, not for recognition, but to know that his existence had weight. To deny a man purpose is to rob him of his essence. Comfort may bring temporary pleasure, but only purpose brings lasting fulfillment. Loyalty is not something a man wants to hear about, it is something he needs to see. Words are easy, but actions reveal the truth. A man does not measure loyalty by promises or declarations. He watches how people stand by him in times of hardship. He pays attention to who remains when things are difficult, who supports him when he is struggling, and who stays true when the world turns against him. Loyalty is not about convenience, it is about commitment. A man values those who prove their devotion, not just when times are good, but when everything is uncertain. He does not expect perfection, but he does expect consistency. Betrayal, in any form, cuts deeper than any wound, because it shakes his very foundation of trust. Once broken, that trust is nearly impossible to rebuild. He does not want empty reassurances, he wants unwavering presence. If he knows someone is truly loyal, he will give his all in return. He will protect, support, and sacrifice without hesitation. But if he senses that loyalty is only conditional, he will withdraw, guarding himself against disappointment. To a man, loyalty is not a word, it is a way of being, proven over time through unwavering action. A man's life is filled with battles, external struggles in his work, responsibilities and ambitions, and internal battles within his mind. The world demands much from him, expecting him to be strong, to endure, to provide, and to push forward no matter the cost. In the midst of this, he does not seek more conflict at home. He seeks peace. A man desires a place where he can lower his guard, even for a moment, without fear of attack or judgment. He does not want to walk into a space filled with unnecessary drama, constant arguments, or emotional chaos. He wants a refuge, a sanctuary where he can breathe, think, and restore his strength. This does not mean he avoids challenges or refuses to engage in meaningful discussions. He respects honesty, directness, and even disagreements when they are rooted in understanding. But what he cannot tolerate is constant negativity, unpredictability, or emotional warfare. If a man feels that his home is another battlefield, he will retreat, not physically, but emotionally. He will become distant, withdrawn, and uninvested. However, if he finds peace in his partner, he will give everything in return. He will move mountains to protect that peace, to nurture it, and to ensure it lasts. A peaceful presence is not a sign of weakness. It is the most powerful gift a person can offer. When a man finds peace, he finds the strength to conquer anything. A man does not seek blind compliance. He seeks a worthy challenge. He may appreciate support, but he does not truly respect someone who simply agrees with everything he says or does. Deep down, he knows that growth comes from resistance, and he values those who push him to be better, think deeper, and rise above his limitations. A man wants someone who challenges his thoughts, questions his assumptions, and refuses to let him settle into mediocrity. This does not mean he desires constant opposition or unnecessary conflict. Rather, he respects a person who can stand firm in their own convictions, who does not fear expressing a different perspective, and who holds him accountable to his highest potential. A man may not always say it, but he admires strength, both in himself and in others. If someone always agrees with him out of fear of upsetting him, he will eventually lose respect for them. He does not need submission. He needs someone who will challenge him in a way that sharpens his character and deepens his wisdom. At his core, a man wants a relationship built on mutual respect, not passive obedience. He desires a dynamic where both individuals grow, where iron sharpens iron, and where challenge leads to strength. He does not seek someone to follow him blindly, but rather someone who walks beside him as an equal, pushing him forward when he is tempted to stand still. A man carries many burdens, expectations from society, pressure to succeed, and the silent weight of his own failures. He is told to be strong, to provide, to lead, and to never show weakness. But beneath the armor he wears for the world, he is human. He makes mistakes, he doubts himself, and he struggles just like anyone else. What he wants, though he may never say it, is the freedom to be imperfect without fear of being diminished in the eyes of those he loves. He does not need someone to overlook his flaws or pretend they do not exist, but he deeply desires the space to learn and grow without being judged too harshly. He does not want every misstep to be used against him, nor every shortcoming to be a reason for rejection. A man values a partner, a friend, or a confidant who can see his imperfections and still believe in him. He does not expect blind acceptance, but he does hope for understanding, that his failures do not define him, and his struggles are not a sign of weakness, but of effort. When a man feels he cannot be imperfect, he shuts down, he stops opening up, stops sharing his struggles, and begins to carry his burdens alone. Over time, this distance becomes a wall, separating him from the people he cares about. But when he is given the freedom to fail, and still be respected, he thrives. He becomes stronger, not weaker, because he knows he does not have to fight his battles in isolation. True connection is not built on perfection, but on the ability to endure flaws together. When a man finds a place where he can be imperfect without fear, he will give everything to protect it. A man is measured not by how he stands in times of ease, but by how he endures in the face of hardship. Life will test him, through failure, loss, disappointment, and moments where everything seems stacked against him. Society expects him to be unshaken, to press forward without complaint, and to carry the weight of responsibility without faltering. And while he may appear strong on the outside, inside, he feels the strain. He struggles, he questions himself, and at times, he wonders if he can continue. Yet, He does not seek pity. He does not want to be coddled or told to take the easy way out. What he truly wants is quiet, unwavering support, the kind that reminds him that he is capable, even when he doubts himself. He does not need someone to remove his burdens, but rather someone who believes he can carry them. He values those who offer strength, not through words alone, but through presence, those who stand beside him without making him feel weak for struggling. When he faces hardship, what matters most is not that someone solves his problems for him, but that they do not abandon him in his darkest moments. A man will endure almost anything if he knows he is not alone, if he knows that someone respects his fight and trusts his ability to rise. The greatest gift anyone can give a man is not to shield him from hardship, but to remind him of his own strength, to see his struggle and still believe in him, even when he is at his lowest. In that belief, he finds the courage to push forward, to rise again, and to prove, not just to the world, but to himself, that he is unbreakable. For many, the idea of intimacy is often reduced to the physical, but a man, though he may not always express it, craves something deeper, an emotional and mental connection that goes beyond fleeting moments of passion. He desires a space where he can be fully himself without fear of judgment, where he can reveal his thoughts, his fears, and his dreams without hesitation. In a world that constantly expects him to be strong, composed, and in control, true intimacy is not found in touch alone, but in trust, the kind of trust that allows him to lower his guard and be vulnerable without shame. A man may go through life carrying burdens in silence, believing that his struggles are his alone to bear, but deep down, he longs for someone who sees beyond his exterior, who understands him not just for what he does, but for who he is. He wants a connection where he does not always have to have the answers, where he can admit when he is tired, uncertain, or afraid, and still be seen as worthy. He wants to be heard, not just in passing conversation, but truly listened to, with presence and understanding. This level of intimacy is rare, but when a man finds it, he values it beyond measure. It is not about constant words of affirmation or grand gestures. It is in the quiet moments, the unspoken understanding, the feeling of safety in another's presence. It is in knowing that he is accepted not for his achievements, his strength, or his status, but simply for who he is at his core. When a man experiences this kind of connection, he will cherish it, protect it, and remain devoted to it, because in it, he finds something that no success, no wealth, and no physical pleasure can ever replace, a sense of being truly known. A man does not find fulfillment merely in earning money. His true satisfaction comes from knowing that what he provides carries meaning. To him, providing is not just about financial gain. It is about security, stability, and the ability to take care of those he loves. It is not wealth itself that drives him, but the purpose behind it. He does not work hard simply to accumulate possessions, but to build something greater than himself, to ensure that those who depend on him never have to go without. Earning money, achieving status, or gaining success means little to a man if it does not contribute to something meaningful. If he feels his efforts are empty, that his work serves no higher purpose, he will grow restless and unfulfilled. He does not want to be valued solely for his ability to produce. He wants to know that what he provides makes a real difference. Whether it is providing for a family, supporting a cause, or creating something that outlasts him, his fulfillment lies in the impact of his efforts, not just the numbers in his bank account. A man also seeks appreciation, not for the sake of his ego, but to know that his sacrifices are recognized. He does not need constant praise, but he does want to feel that what he does is seen and valued. If his efforts go unnoticed, if his sacrifices are taken for granted, he may begin to feel like a mere resource rather than a person with hopes and desires of his own. When he knows that what he provides is meaningful and appreciated, he will push himself even harder, not out of obligation, but out of a deep sense of purpose. At his core, a man is not just a provider of material things, he is a provider of security, strength, and stability. His purpose is not in earning for the sake of wealth, but in using his abilities to create a life where those he cares for can thrive. That is what truly fulfills him, not the paycheck itself, but the knowledge that through his efforts, he is building something lasting and significant. A man does not simply want to exist, he wants to leave something behind that outlasts him. He is not content with merely living day to day, going through the motions, and fading into obscurity. Deep within him is the desire to build a legacy, to know that his time on this earth mattered, that his actions, his words and his sacrifices left a lasting impact. His greatest fear is not death, but insignificance, to live and be forgotten, to have made no difference, to have walked this path with nothing to show for it. A man's legacy is not just in wealth or achievements, it is in the lives he touches, the lessons he imparts, and the values he instills in those who come after him. He wants to create something greater than himself, something that continues to exist long after he is gone. For some, this legacy is found in raising strong, principled children. For others, it is in the work they dedicate themselves to, the wisdom they pass down, or the impact they make on their community. Whatever form it takes, a man wants to know that his presence in the world was not in vain, that his struggles, sacrifices and efforts built something meaningful. He does not want to reach the end of his life, realizing that he wasted his potential. He wants to look back and see that he lived with purpose, that he fought for something worthwhile, and that his existence left a mark. He does not seek recognition for the sake of vanity. He seeks meaning, a reason for why he endured, why he pushed forward despite hardship, why he chose the difficult path instead of the easy one. A man's legacy is his final testament to the world, a reflection of who he was and what he stood for, whether it is through his family, his principles, his work or the people he mentored. He wants to ensure that when he is gone, he is not just another name forgotten by time. He wants his influence to remain, his lessons to be remembered, and his impact to continue shaping the world long after he has taken his last breath. That is what truly gives his life meaning, not just the years he lived but the mark he left behind. In the end, a man's life is not defined by what he gains, but by what he gives, by the strength he shows in adversity, and by the legacy he leaves behind. Do not chase comfort at the expense of purpose. Do not seek love without respect. Do not settle for existence when you were meant to build something greater. Rise above the distractions, the doubts, and the fears. Stand firm in who you are. Push forward in the face of hardship, and demand more from yourself than the world expects. Be a man of action, of principle, of vision, and when your time comes, let it be said that you lived with honor, that you gave your all, and that you left the world stronger than you found it. The choice is yours. Will you merely live, or will you leave a legacy?